Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thank you guys very much for coming out. There's a pie in my face right now. What is going on? What is happening? Why? It's just like the second I come on screen, it's just like, hey, look, something to punch. What the frick? And also, yeah, F is for fire that burns down the whole town. Use for uranium. Hi. So how you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a pretty good day. I'm gonna open up this can that's currently sitting over here. It's Dr. Pepper Blackberry, which is like, I don't know how much longer this is gonna exist, but like, I doubt that it's selling very well. It's one of those things that's just like, it's an interesting flavor profile, but I can't imagine it's very popular. You know, one of those guys. And we'll see. Ooh, we got some. Okay, what kind of pizza? Carl, what kind of pizza? I need these informations. Is it a particular brand? Did you get it from like, you know, like a takeout place? And what toppings are on it? I need these details. This is important. Oh. Also, FB, what is that emote? What was this? What's this tiny... Picro where? What is this tiny little goober? I've never seen them before. That's not what fun means. N is for no survivors. Run you! Basic pizza toppings. I have chicken and green onions sprinkled on it. I'm terrible when it comes to like eating proper healthy food. So the green onions, you lost me. However, I don't know, but it's cute. Fair enough. But chicken, I can go for that. I remember there was a frozen pizza brand that I picked up at one point a long time ago that it did like a chicken Alfredo kind of thing, where it was like a whole bunch of like chicken topping and things, and also it had like, you know, Alfredo sauce instead of having like, you know, regular old like pizza, like the whole like tomato marinara sauce kind of thing, which was kind of cool. I like that. Problem is I don't think it's sold at my store anymore. Because I don't think anybody bought it. Except for me. Mm-hmm. You know how it is. So we're going to be playing some Slime Rancher. And hopefully it'll be nice and chill. I don't have a heck of a lot to do during the Slime Rancher stream. I'm going to be real. Not really. Sounds yummy. It was okay. Like, it was okay for, like, frozen food's sake. I definitely would have, like, gone with a takeout pizza or just my own personal, like, homemade pizza if I had the option, you know? But anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into the game tab, shall we? I think that would be a really good idea. Where is the, Hold the phone. I can't find where... There's the music. And then, game PC audio, there we go. Opinion on box tops. I have absolutely no horse in that race. Just like, what? I don't know. They exist? They keep stuff inside the boxes? I don't frickin' young boy. Anyway, here we are. What was I doing previously? Probably just taking care of the slimes. I think I'm trying to, like, unlock a whole bunch of the locations. Didn't I unlock like the desert area? I think so. I have 751 coin at the moment. How you guys doing? Are you like properly fed and all that? Oh yeah, I upgraded my equipment and now I can hold more plorts. Yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, you guys are relatively fed. That's good. Good. The things that would you cut off from the boxes and take to your school, and then you can win a prize party, pizza party or something if you brought the most. I mean, okay, that never happened when I was in school. When I was in school, it was literally just like, you know, that they had the box top thing, but it was like, you know, bring in the box tops, and then that's it. Have a good day. I don't know whether or not they had that whole incentive where you could possibly get a pizza party. I don't know. Was that like a thing that they did by region or something? Like if a particular school region managed to get enough box tops, they would get a pizza party. I don't know. It's something that they did back when I was a kid, but like it's definitely like when I was a kid, they didn't do the pizza party thing, I don't think. Or if they did, I was never like told about it. I do remember they did the milk cap thing. I don't know whether they still do that. Who knows? Yeah, box tops. It's like it's been around for a very long time. Oh, stuff's still growing here. Okie dokie. How we doing? Lovely. I feel young and old at the same time. There are certain staples of, like, school that just will not die. And some of them that should die, but they just won't. For example, I really like schools to actually have the budget to, you know, freshly make all of their food again. Which, like, nowadays, they don't really do that. Mostly, like, when it comes to, like, school lunch, they tend to, like, get everything pre-packed and pre-boxed up, frozen, and then they, like, you know, warm it up in an oven in the back, and that's about it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, box tops are still a thing nowadays, if my memory serves me right. I mean, Nova is, I think Nova's fairly young, so if anybody is going to know if that's the case, it'd probably be them. Here's the desert area that I unlocked previously. Oh, the world is my oyster. What do I do with all this extra land? I could possibly make, like, a reserve of some, you know, so, like, there possibly some reserve food or something. Oh, Jellystone. How doth one... Oh. Oh, I can suck this up. Shoot, I didn't know that. Maybe I should have tried that. Well, now I know. My school, I don't fully know what's going on. They took down a random drinking fountain. Oh. And some kid brought a chair from class and left it in the boys' bathroom. Nobody has moved it, so it's just been there for weeks. Sounds like regular school shenanigans, I'll be real. I mean, like, I'm trying to remember some, like, adjacent things that I remember being in my school when I was growing up. Nothing to that extent, but, like, I do remember that, Okay, this wasn't in school, but I do remember this one time when, like, my family moved into this new house, and, like, I guess the people that originally were in the house were, like, bachelors. What's this area? Ooh, okay. Anyway, yeah, the people that were previously, like, taking up the house were, like, bachelors, and specifically, like, college bachelors. So, what ended up happening was we moved in, and then we went down to, like, the basement bathroom, which, you know, basement bathroom, like, I mean, you can make a really decent basement bathroom. This was not one of them. And, we took a look in there. First of all, ugly as sin. The place was, like, a dark green color, and the toilet was also dark green, and, like, all of the furniture in there was, like, made out of old wood and, like, you know, old fixtures and things, and it did not look good. Then, to add, like, a weird curiosity to all of it, on top of one of, like, the dresser-looking things that was inside that bathroom, there was a can of opened Chef Boyardee. It didn't have any, like, ravioli left in it. It was just sitting there. And I was just like, everybody was, like, actively sort of just staring and looking at this thing. And it took a while before, like, we all collectively decided it was time to throw the can out. And actually, by the time we actually did throw the can out, we found out that the can had been sitting there for an extendedly long period of time, to the point where it actually, like, had a weird burnt in, like, circle around where it sat. So, like, not only were we afraid to touch it, apparently the previous tenants were also afraid to touch it. We're just like, what the fuck? What the heck, man? Like, what is this ravioli can, and why is everybody just so terrified of touching the dang thing? Anyway, I think I've told that story a couple of times on the stream. But for any new people that just recently heard that, congratulations, I guess. What the fuck? Did I just hear a sound out of my, like, back window here? Unsure. What an amazing can. Finally finished a project for school 2 days ago. Interesting. That's good to hear. Get your stuff done. Okay, fraud is... Well, the fruit is rotting from the frickin' tree. I'm trying to look around to see if I can find any more of, like, the, you know, those minerals, the jellystone. Hey, big boy. Guess I'll feed you later. What is this? Can I burn this down so that I can, like, get through here? It's a good question. Let's burn the entire forest down. Why the heck not? What's this forest ever done for me aside from give me valuable resources? I feel like... Oh, now would be a very opportune time to grab, like, some of you. Possibly. Oh, you finished your senior project too. Very nice. Carrot's getting... yeah, okay. My last day of midterms tomorrow, so I'm happy and stressed. Yeah, that's a mood. Ooh. And there's another one of you. Very nice. Deep brine. Very well. I'm very lost. I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like looking around the environment and being like, look at all the cool fun things. Yay! What brand was the can? Just a can of Chef Boyardee. That's just it. It's not even like a Campbell's Super... Ow. Thank you for the apple. It's not even like a can of, you know, Campbell's or something. Ooh. This stuff is completed. Good. Need to feed everybody. There we go. So, random bit news that I've currently got sitting around in my head. The other day, we just recently did our first, like, watch-along. Our favorite, like... Actually, our first movie night that we've ever done in the Discord. And I think I'm pretty happy the way it went. Everybody seemed like to really appreciate what I, you know, brought to view that particular day. If you didn't know, we watched the Muppet Family Christmas, which is like an old, like, Christmas special of the Muppets that I remember watching when I was a kid. And I remember it, like, very fondly, and, like, I watched that VHS countless freaking times when I was younger. That turned out pretty good. We have another movie night that we're going to be doing sometime pretty soon here on Friday. Same movie. Because apparently the audience for that particular movie was split between, like, 2 different days. So, yeah, if you haven't seen the movie yet and want to get a chance to actually see it, or if you haven't seen... If you were here for the previous night but just want to see it again, hey... You could dive on out to the Friday showing and you could watch it a second time. Whee! I enjoyed the movie night. It was fun. Plan on showing it to my friends. Hey, very nice. Exciting. Now, there is a little bit of an interesting thing that happened during that movie night, however. That movie night, we had Zsil, one of my friends, come into the stream and hung out with us while we watched the movie. And they're very like, intrigue driven type of, I mean, a lot of people are intrigue driven, but they were particularly interested in learning a little bit more about this special. So while it was running, they decided to go and look it up, and they discovered that apparently, all my life I thought that this was a just straight to VHS special of some kind. Apparently not. This is actually a special that has existed for a long time, ever since like 1987. And it originally aired as a TV special. I was not aware of this, but now I am. But more than that, on top of the fact that, like, it was originally a TV special, there were apparently some scenes that did not end up showing up in the VHS re-release of the movie that were exclusive to TV. And the reason for that is because, like, I guess there was specific, like, I don't know, specific, like, laws or something like that kept some of those songs from being able to appear. I don't know. Copyright law sucks. But anyway, yeah, because of that, they had to, like, basically butcher those little bits out. So, a movie that was originally 42 minutes... Actually, no. It was, like, 50 minutes long, and it was, like, pared down to being only 42 minutes long instead. So, yeah, there's, like, not a gigantic amount, but, like, a decent amount of footage that just doesn't exist anywhere outside of that, aired on TV special. However, then after Zsil told me this, I went and did a little bit of searching around, and I found archived there does exist that footage that is like, that's been kind of remastered a little bit by fans, and you can find it and you can watch it. Again, I was not aware of this when I first set up to actually do the special here. However, I'm correcting my mistake this time. On Friday, we're going to be watching the extended special with all of those bits intact. And I'm doing a little bit of work on the side right now to do some possible doctoring of some video footage that I've got sitting around. I want to see if maybe I could possibly do a little bit of remastering myself, because I've got like the DVD special that I've ripped, and the DVD special is like, I forget when it originally came out, but it's like kind of one of the freshest copies of the movie that I own and that I know about. And I figure I could do a little bit of fun little splice work to put like the a bunch of like the DVD release and the the TV special together in one single movie and stuff. I don't know. This has definitely like kicked off a whole bunch of receptors in my head and given me like a reason to get really excited about stuff. You know what I mean? Excite. Anyway, I need to make a new corral. Ba-boink. High walls. Yes, please. I mean, I don't really need it for like one freaking slime, but hey, it'll do. It'll be fine. Solar shield. I don't think all right, I definitely need to like get plort collectors and stuff at some point. I just need to drop them off though. Your diet is meat. Very well. I will go and grab you some chickens, and you will have a feast of your own for all eternity. Thought I saw something. Anyway. How much chicken and what kind of chicken should I bring them? Oh, what? I didn't even check what their favorite food was, now that I think about it. Maybe I should have. Oh, well. I'm just going to take, like, a selection of chicken, and I'm going to bring it over. And then whenever he's hungry, he can just, like, turn his head and go... Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ah, buddy. Poor bastard. Okay, since the Tangleplorts are like a little bit rare at the moment, I don't necessarily want to sell them. I think I'm much more interested in taking them and putting them back in the, in the science thing, just so that I have them. Doing my own project right now of drawing all my main OCs together. Ooh, very nice. I got a message. Someone's yelling at me. Give me a minute, I'm in the middle of work. How dare they call me this late at night? Okay, how am I doing, my little plort factory? As a scene from Drawn Together. I haven't thought about Drawn Together in years. How do you know about Drawn Together? Is there a fan base that exists for Drawn Together still? What the heck? Holy shit. Ooh. A lot of plorts. I think I might want to keep that. Drawn Together is sort of like a raunchy kind of show that existed like a while back. I don't know. It was on like Comedy Central when I was growing up. And I don't remember it being like the best show on the planet, but like, it was a show, whatever. I certainly would not recommend it for like a modern audience because I seem to recall that there were a lot of like really inappropriate jokes that I don't think would be cool nowadays. If I'm remembering correctly, yeah, there was like some terrible freaking gags. Like, there's one character who's like basically an analog of like Link from The Legend of Zelda, and the entire crux of the joke of his character is that he's flamboyantly gay. That's it. That's the freaking joke. That man, I don't know. It's kind of like there was a time when if you made that joke, it was like guaranteed humor, guaranteed comedy. It's just like, ha 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 ha, look, he's gay. It's funny. Please laugh. And nowadays, it's just like, yeah, somebody's gay. So what? Matter of fact, like, if you point out the fact that somebody's gay in a show and you're playing it up for laughs, you're kind of laughed out of the building. So, hey, Spooky's here. Hello. Hey. Help trying to run. I didn't notice this before. When you give them like their favorite food, they do a little like heart around their head. Stop trying to escape! What's your problem? Pumpkin Potion introduced me to it. She was getting compared to Toot. Right, that's right. A lot of people say that she looks similar to like Betty Boop or Toot. Yeah. She pulled up a picture of her and did a side-by-side comparison while saying, "Do I look like a toon that licked the line of cocaine off the back of a McDonald's toilet?" Yeah, that is Toot's character. I remember Toot's character very well. She was raunchy and very strange. Thought I would pop in here for a few minutes before I go to sleep. Been playing Cookie Run for so long. Forgot what time it is. Oh, I've been there. Except for me, it would be like Minecraft back in the day. Where I would look at the clock and just be like, "What? Where'd the time go? Uh-oh." Speaking of which, Synth was teasing and saying that, like, we should play Terraria again. And I'm like, oh, Lord, no. I'm back in the fucking building again! Walked away for a bit and I came back to cocaine. Welcome to BitB Stream. Subjects just sort of jump back and forth, left and right. I should run out into the nighttime and I should go and find myself another one of those, like, green slimy boys. Yeah, you go ahead and keep eating, boy. I don't even know where they're native is the, like, main thing. Does it say anywhere on my map where they're native? No, it just tells me where the frickin' gourds are. Very well. I believe if I just keep running this direction, I will eventually run into a tag. Oh. Ow. Thank you, Spooky. I could have used a little bit of floor nap. Flowers. No. Fruit. Got it. Where are the Tangle Slimes at? Good God. Why are they so rare? Must not be in the right, like, prefecture for it. Very well. Ooh. I don't have the thing that allows me to, Oh, wait. I can get deep brine. Hold on a second. But I can only get 3 of them at a time. That's Garbo. All right. Garbaggio. Anyway, gonna skedaddle. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. Have a very nice night. Whoa. Not seeing anything crazy just yet. Also, what's that up there? Oh, is that like one of those pod container things? I believe so.
Fatso.
Big boy. I'm a little bit lost. I don't know how I got here. Where am I? Yeah, that's where my house is. If I had the ability to cross this, I could possibly get over there. What? Terrifying. Whoa, Jesus, hi. Sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to disturb you guys. Oh, Lord. Nope. Sorry. Okay. Nope. Nothing. Wait. Okay, where am I at? Actually, yeah, I managed to cross over pretty well there. I'm getting the heck out of here. Oh, jeez. What? No. Don't you swallow my friends. Get going, you silly bastard. They've been distracted. If all my OCs were living together in a reality TV show, they'd pretty much be the woke PG-13 version of characters, not make offensive jokes because they're what the show makes fun of. Alrighty. Guess I could go ahead and just drop these off. Cool, cool. Like, look at how much money, these guys don't make a heck of a lot of money. However, the Tangle Slimes, holy shit. Like, if I can manage to get a whole bunch of Tangle Slimes, I could be making some moolah right about now. Alright, I need to drop off this brine. None of them are what the characters in Drawn Together are, I mean. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. God, I remember Drawn Together, but, like, don't ask me about any of, like, the plot lines of Drawn Together, because I don't remember anything about that. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of these shows in frickin' years, so most of it has left my mind, and I can't, like, call back to it. What's funny though is that, like, you know, I remember a lot of stuff about the synopsises about a whole bunch of different things, but I don't remember the actual, like, events of the show. However, I feel like if I were to like watch the show, everything would just come flooding back. You know what I mean? Okay, which one of you needs a roostro more? I got a lot of roostros. I'm a little worried because like the hens aren't really showing up all that much. There we go. Grab all these boys. Jeez, having a deeper inventory space, like, it definitely helps out. I feel like now would be a good time to... Here. Let's grab a whole bunch of these roostros, and we're gonna feed you to these slimes, because they are probably starving. Hey! Sorry, normal slimes. Okay, we got a communication. Let's take a look at it. Who's yelling at me? Oh, Thora. Okay. Hey there, Beer. I wanted to give you something nice, so I tried making you cookies, but, baking ain't exactly my area of expertise. Hobson said they were so edible. Anyway, I bought you something instead. Hope you like it. Pink mangrove. I don't know why, but you say mangrove, and the first thing I think has nothing to do with trees. And makes everything to do with somebody's, like, you know. So some guys, like, you know, shave a little bit, dude. There's an entire forest. Manscaped, damn it. Reality TV, there's always character archetypes like the gay one, the bitch, the outsider, and that kind of stuff. Yes, because reality TV is so far away from being actual reality that it hurts. And it's funny, because when I was younger, I was like... I didn't pick up on that, you know? I was just like, ha 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 ha, he's so funny. These are such quirky, strange people. It's amazing this is reality. And then you grow up and you realize, wait a butt nugget. These people weren't real at all. I mean, you know, there were like little tiny bits and pieces of realism in them. It's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, technically their personalities did shine a little bit through, but at the end of the day, like, very often they would grab people off the street and they would just be like, okay, hey, you act like this, please. Be this person for our television show. Like, if you had a tiny little character archetype that was inside of you, they were basically just like, okay, can you just flamboyantly be that, please? MTV was very guilty of this, unfortunately. Which is sad, because I watched a lot of MTV. And it poisoned my brain. I look back on my time nowadays, and I'm just like, you know what? I probably would be like a happier, more like... probably like a lot more fulfilled of a person if it weren't for the fact that I watched a bunch of MTV content. You know, I'm like, I've realized, ow, thank you. Yeah, I deserve it. I shouldn't have watched that much MTV. Anyway, I'm gonna grab a few of you. Anyway, yeah, no, it just makes me sad because I'm just like, that was a lot of really trash entertainment that I watched over the years, and I really shouldn't have. Cyclone, dizzy as a dervish. Are there cyclones out here? Curious. Anyway, we're gonna make a new pen. This time we're going to make it a coop. I want it to have high walls. I want it to have the spring grass and all that. I want it to have... oh. I'm out of money. Yeah, I'm broke. All right, well, I can at least start the coup. Boing. There we go. Repopulate, damn it. And I guess I'll grab these plorts. Hey, look over here for a second, dude. Are you looking for an escape? Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's just like, how do I get out of here? I'm scared. Well, you can't get out of here. You're mine. There we go. I still have a bunch of DVD box sets for MTV shows that I remember watching back in the day, and I debate with myself on what the heck I'm gonna do with them. Because I'm like, all right, do I want to watch them, or do I? I'm gonna regret watching them if I do. You know, I'm gonna be like, oh, why did I like this? This isn't funny. This sucks. Okay, these guys are dying of hunger. Time to feed. There we go. Okay, so, we're doing pretty good. Oh, Lord, we've got a lot of these chickens. You guys are nearly running out. I'm gonna scoop a bunch of you guys up. And why not? You got a ton of roostros in here. I'll go ahead and, I'll make it, like, roostro full. Though, the stony hen is... These guys don't like the stony hens as much. Or, like... Actually, no. They like stony hens. They don't like... Brain! Gosh darn it. What's some other reality shows I remember watching? We've talked about this several times on this stream before. You guys probably don't remember this one show. It was called, like, MTV's Next. Yeah, that show sucked, and I was just recently... Well, not... I would say, like, a couple months ago, I was reminded of the fact that it exists in the first place. That was a very awful show. So, the premise of the show is, you've got a tour bus, and it's got about, I think, 5 bachelors just sort of hanging out on it. And then, you've got a bachelorette that they have told that is gonna go on speed dates. So, you know, and the premise is, she has all, you know, she goes on whatever dates that she wants to, and she ends up making the call for, like, where they're going to be going. However, she's going on these dates one at a time with these guys. And the idea is she, like, hangs out with them for, like, about as long as she wants to, but... Oh, hey, there's the cyclone. Okay. However... if at any point in time she feels like she doesn't want to continue to date the person that she's currently with, she says, next. That guy is immediately eliminated, and they move on to the next guy. And yeah, the entire premise is, like, she is attempting to try and find the person that she most relates to, and all that jazz. Which, like, what's funny is that, like, whenever in this show they tended to the gal tended to, like, say next really flippantly. She would just be like, those pants, no, next. And then she would, like, you know, kick them out. And, like, you know, the date could be going, like, perfectly fine or, like, really good, and then, like, the guy will, like, say or do something that's, like, just a little bit lopsided, and she'll just be like, next. And then just, like, they'd move on to the next part. And it's just like, ew. Hate it already. Yeah, no, I watched it back in the day because, I don't know, there was something sort of entertaining about, like, I don't know why it was entertaining. That's the problem. I think back and I'm just like, why was I entertained by this? It's really superficial and shitty. I don't... Reminds me of that YouTube show, The Button. Is it basically the exact same thing? Time is a circle, so I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that, like... Oh, what the... Wait a second. Cyclones? Drift crystals. I don't know what that does. I don't know what you are. I'm grabbing you. That sounds amazing. Any more drift crystals I should know about? Probably not. I'm just gonna leave. Speed dating, and you press the button if you don't like the other person. Yeah. Time is a circle. It's just like, hey, what can we do? Hey, you remember this one idea that existed at one point? Now let's just do that. Hey, well, okay. So it's all about the attitude and the presentation, though. And back to what we were talking about before with, like, you know, reality television. This was like the sort of the attitude era of MTV, where they were trying to really appeal to, like, the college age demographic and try and get a whole bunch of people's attention that, like, are, you know, immature party people and stuff like that. So I don't know what... I'm guessing that MTV Next probably doesn't apply the same way that The Button does. I suspect it's probably done a little bit more tastefully, you know what I mean? Maybe, like, you know, the exact same showmanship of, like, we've just put all these people together in one room and we, you know, two people are gonna be trying to date, but if they don't like each other, they can push the next button. But it's probably more straightforward. I don't know. Like, the tastes of, like, you know, society have kind of leaned towards, like, we want a little bit more of a realistic expectation or, like, you know, realistic picture of what dating actually is. At least I'd like to think so. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be entirely wrong, and it might be like, no, it's just as superficial as it's always been. Just like, God fucking... Well, curse me for... What? Wait! What is this? What? Fine, bud. What is this? Huh? What did you make? Buddy. What does this do? Whoa! Chicken. Water lettuce! The only glass of water that has your daily dose of fiber. What's a water lettuce? Wait a second. Can I plant this? Oh, I wonder if I can plant this. Oh. Oh. What the flower doing? Birth! I must know. Hold on. Okay, so we got chickens. Garden. Oh! Yee. All right. I don't have money to, like, improve this thing anymore, though. I thought that said Vine Boom. Oh, that's freaking cool. All right. I'll be back to look at this water lettuce and see. So, what is... Your diet is meat, and yet you make water lettuce somehow. All right, well, let me look at the... I want to look at the Slimepedia real quick. Oh, your favorite is the painted hen. All right. Got it. I've learned something new. Let's see. What other, like, MTV reality shows do I remember? Okay, so obviously there was, like, Real World. That was the popular one. That was the one that everybody was watching. And I don't know why. Like, if you thought that something like MTV Next sounded really superficial, Real World takes that up a notch. It's like, it's just super superficial to an insane level. to a point that even when I was younger, I was just like, yeah, it looks stupid. So if back in the day, Bitby thought that something was superficial and stupid, that should tell you something. But yeah, no. So nowadays, like I know for a fact that it was like way worse than I can even fathom. What other reality shows do I remember being a thing back in the day? Oh, there was one show that I thought was like kind of neat, and I'm not sure whether or not there's any like comparable shows nowadays. It's called Room Raiders. Man, I swear I've talked about these things several times on the stream, but hey, there's some new people in here, so I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it again. Room Raiders was an interesting show concept. For some reason, MTV, like, it was always about like everybody wanted to get a date. It was all date stuff. Kind of makes me wonder, like, how many of the people that met on these MTV shows are still around and like still together? Are they? Did it work out? They have kids? Did they? And if they had kids, is there like video footage of their time on like MTV reality shows that they can like look back on and just be like, see kids, this is how I met your mother. It's like, is it a thing? Does that exist? Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, Room Raiders. So this was kind of an interesting show. The concept of it was very similar to, actually funny enough, it was very similar to like MTV Next, but like in that a whole bunch of bachelors have to hang out in a van somewhere. Basically, so here's how. Let's back up a little bit. So the idea is, the people that sign up for this show sign a contract that says that at any point in time, MTV can go out to their house, wherever they live, and they can basically take you from your room, take you from wherever you live, and they can, grab you and lock you up into their Room Raiders van. And then they do this to about like 3 people per episode. And the next thing that happens is they have a bachelorette who comes in and goes out to those locations where they picked up the bachelors, and they enter the homes, they take a look around, and the important thing is they go into the bachelor's room. And then they do a full inspection of the room. The reason why they do the whole, like, basically abduction thing is because they don't want you to have time to clean up. Like, they want, whatever it is they find in that room, they want to be able to, like, keep that preserved so that, like, when the bachelorette comes in, they can inspect and see if they can find something, like, interesting or weird or cringy or something like that. So that's kind of the concept of it. And I'm not gonna lie, that concept's kind of fun. All right, like, I'll admit, like, I would never want that to happen. Like, I wouldn't want to be abducted and just have somebody, like, judge the decor of my room. But at the exact same time, I was just like, that's kind of neat. Never watched the show, but I just remembered that one show of Wife Swap, reality TV show. Oh yeah, Wife Swap. What the? Yeah, that was freaking weird too. The whole idea of, like, you take somebody's, 2 wives and then you swap them around and all that jazz. Did they ever have a husband swap show? Oh. Did I ever read this? I sometimes used to bring my lunch here and stare at these colossal fossils, wondering what this would have looked like when they were alive. It's a world of slimes now, but who knows what it was before. And if the universe has room for a whole world and its ecosystem changing course, maybe we should accept the same of each other. Geez, talking about the past sure resonates these days. I wonder what profound thoughts I had to share back then. Hey, we're talking about the past right now! Except it's regrettable reality television. Opinion on ABC and their website. I've not been to any like television station's website in many, many years, so I could not tell you. Saw this one reality TV show where they brought bitter exes back together to live in the same house with other broken up couples, and they just see whether or not there will be drama between the exes or who might get together to get back together. Yeah, that's disgusting. I don't know. I hate the whole... See, now that I've gotten older and now that I understand, like, you know, human beings and psychology a little bit better, I hate those concepts now. Like, it's just... It's manipulative. It's creepy. I don't like it. But back on the Room Raiders thing, though. Also, hold on. There was a chicken stuck behind the monitor. Here we go. Anyway, I remember there were a couple of like specific things that they did during that show. One constant that they had. So the Bachelorette would get a set of like room inspection tools that they could use to like take a look around, and I forget exactly what all the tools were, but I remember one of them very specifically, and it's a dust glove. It's this white glove. They pop it on, and then they like run their finger along like a smooth surface somewhere in the room, and then they pull it back and they show how much dust appeared on the finger. And for some reason, dust was like one of the main things that they always tended to lean on for like drama, because they were always just like, "Ooh, you've not been dusting in your room. Ooh, that's disgusting. Wow, you're disgusting." And it's just like, I mean, I agree. You really should be cleaning up your space, but like, is that important? Is it that ridiculously important that you're just like, man, no, we can't date if you're this, you know, if you don't dust often. It's like, frickin'. And I'm trying to recall, but like, I wonder if there were ever any of the episodes of Room Raiders. In fact, they should have done this, honestly. Actually, wait. No. I think... no. If I recall correctly, I think at the end of Room Raiders, as like for revenge, I think the guys would be taken to like the location of wherever the Bachelorette's room is, and they got to inspect the Bachelorette's room. I think. I might be wrong about that. It's sort of like a Just Desserts kind of thing, where they're just like, we've been mocked the entire time that we've been sitting in this tour bus, and now we get to be able to mock you, you know? Anyway, reality TV sucks. It really does. Mostly because it's not reality. Barely even frickin' TV. Alright. I need more carrots. Grow me some more carrots, dang it. I think I might want to dial back on how many rabbits I got. I love the rabbits, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of them in here. And, like, they're munching through all of my stock. Like, water. Here. We're gonna take a trip. There's a lot of drama on those shows. Yeah. I think that's one thing as I've gotten older. Like, I hate drama. I guess TV gave me the opportunity to, like, experience that drama with, like, you know, with a little bit of a buffer between me. You know what I mean? But even as, like, when I was younger, in high school, oh, I hated drama. Drama just curdles my fucking blood. It's just like, this is stupid, this is dumb, I'm really frustrated, I don't like anybody in this situation, it's all petty, it's all, like, stupid, and I want it to stop. I want, like, a relaxed resolution to all this stuff. Opinion on Walmart. an unfortunate necessity in our society. Like, that's a good way to put it. I will say, a long time ago, I would have said, ew, corporate, gigantic, taking over all of our towns, making it very difficult for small business to grow in. And that's still the case. Still don't like that. However, like, well, now we're dealing with an even worse problem, which is Amazon. Amazon is just like, ugh. Growing up, I don't think I could have anticipated the horror that Amazon was going to create. In that, like, now brick and mortar stores just don't seem to have any sort of, like, stakes whatsoever. There we go. There we go. Readjusting my headset real quick. Getting quite a bit of this Jellystone. I think my 50 penguins are stuck in your walls. Do you mind sending them back? That's a very random thing that you've said. I don't know. Insert random response. That shows you the quality of a streamer, when they don't have a good quip or comeback. There we go. So here's a random thing that's been currently sitting on my mind. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the Discord. Hey, look, there's some penguin. Wait, I talked about this a little bit earlier in the Discord, but, you know, is one of the things that's currently relevant in my frickin' brain. So not too long ago, apparently, like, there's a new CEO of Mozilla, aka the company that makes Firefox, and like, that CEO has had an interview recently where, actually, it was like an announcement over on their blog, if I remember right. But basically, they made the announcement that they are going to be moving forward with making Mozilla a very AI-centric web browser. And basically, like, they're going full-on AI first kind of thing. But they've also pitched the whole, however, we know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. And so, in the event somebody doesn't like AI, they do have the ability to opt out and turn those features off. So they're currently trying to dance this, like, really precarious dance when it comes to this, you know, when it comes to their web browser, where they're like, they want to have their cake and eat it too, you know what I mean? They want to be like, oh yes, we've fallen to the horrible corporate shilling and also, like, you know, the pushing of AI and generative bullshit into your feeds, just like every other freaking corporate entity that is currently doing so right now. Oh, hello. Oh, Onyx Galleria is currently raiding with a party of one. Hey, hello, Onyx. How's it going? I hope you're having a good day. Galax Empire Takeover. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are having a very lovely day. I'm currently just playing a little bit of Slime Rancher 2. I was just about to get into a little bit of a rant in regards to frickin', like, Firefox. I don't know. To repeat what I was saying, Firefox has decided to start, like, incorporating generative AI stuff in, which, yeah. But before we get too far into it, I definitely don't have a very happy stance when it comes to generative AI and stuff. As a Firefox user, sad face. Well, here's the good news. I don't remember when it happened, but the good news is that stuff like Chrome and Firefox and whatnot, to try and, like, build up a nice face and a nice reputation, they have released like open source builds of their operating system out to developers so that they can like continue to build stuff for their operating system and like, you know, they can sort of branch out their ecosystems. So there are open source alternatives that you can get for both Chrome and Firefox. And recently, I think it's called WaterFox, which is like an open source variant of Firefox. Basically, it's the exact same browser, only slightly modified with like certain things that they do instead of Firefox. They try and push like more privacy, basically, with their branch. They made the announcement that like they are not intending on putting any of the AI stuff into their operating system, on the grounds that like, you know, generative AI is currently like a Wild West situation. You know, it's like it's based off of the stolen content of a bunch of people on the internet, and like large language models are just, they're sucking up a lot of resources and a lot of energy, and it's not very safe to use because it's not actually going to give you good answers. It's only going to give you answers that they think are correct. On top of that, like, a lot of that technology just like bulks down stuff and makes things like run worse, in my opinion. As an artist, facts. Bingo boingo. I respect artists, gosh darn it. Pick up a freaking pencil and actually draw, goddammit. Build a skill. Matter of fact, stop using AI because it basically trains you to just not use any skill whatsoever. Computers cannot be held liable, so why are people letting them make business decisions? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh, dude. So the entire discourse of like, so there's a bunch of video game companies that have started doing the whole like, oh, we're using AI to do like, you know, like what's the term? Concept art. There we go. We're using it very early on in production for concept art and stuff like that. And that's fine because then we take that concept art and we reiterate on it with concept artists to like refine it. And then like there's barely any of the AI that's left. I disagree with this on like a major principle. That being that if you're starting out right from the gate with some generic AI prompt, like how inspired is whatever you're making really? Honestly, like you want to like take any of the really interesting or exciting concepts that you're currently coming up with and replace them with something that has been regurgitated by a robot. No, thank you. I'd rather people use programmer art as placeholders. Yeah, right. Use MS Paint drawings, for God's sake. Anything. Sketch something on a napkin and scan it into your computer. I'd prefer any of that. Ow, thank you for the apple. I appreciate it. Also, that's the heaviest thing you can throw at me. I think I'm missing a tooth now. Water tooth. God, that just reminds me. Am I logged into my Blue Sky over on this computer? I believe so. I retweeted this, I say retweet, but it's Blue Sky. I reposted one particular thing that I thought was really, really funny. Oh, other people find it funny too. Give me a moment. There's a post that said, while we're on the topic of what's the correct way to implement placeholders in your game, here's an example of unfinished dialogue from the April 2000 prototype of Spyro 3. Here, save this as JPEG. I'm gonna drag this up. And also, this was posted by Behold Maxine on Blue Sky. There we go. This was the placeholder image that was in Spyro 3. Or like placeholder like dialogue. Yeah, I prefer this. That is proof that there was a programmer somewhere Piss off. And then, like, my favorite image, though, was a response to that image where somebody posted some more examples. Here, I'm gonna grab this one now, too. Where's the image? Where'd it go? Refresh. There we go. Pay me fat ducats or the chick dies. Oh, fucking great. That is that is an example of like a bunch of programmers and a bunch of people that are making a game that are having fun. Have fun. You know, you don't need to have like an AI generated like script or something. You don't need to like AI generate shit and shove that in there. Write your own stuff, even if it's something stupid. Reminds me of the storyboard that I drew for project that I did. I'm trying to remember when the last time I made a placeholder for anything. I don't know. Most of my stuff is pretty simplistic. You don't necessarily need a placeholder for a lot of things that I do. Oh, man. I respect the ever-loving heck out of that, man. If I were to have a placeholder, oh, you bet it would probably be, like, littered with memes. Anyway, I respect the ever-loving heck out of, like, you know, human-created content and all that jazz, so... To hear a whole bunch of, like, video game companies come out of the woodwork and be like, no, this is not, like, one of the main assets that you're not gonna see these assets, ever, in the game itself. So don't worry. It's cool, it's ethical. We're just using this stuff, like, as the basis for our creativity. That's it. Not as a product that we're selling. It's just like... I don't believe you see the problem, sir. My tinfoil hat theory is that they're fucking around and finding out with how much they can add. Think microdosing. Yep, no, exactly. And that's why I'm not, like, giving them an inch. Not one single bit. See, like, a lot of people will say that, I've heard the argument of just, like, come on, guys. Come on. Like, what... Pretty soon, AI is going to be used for, like, literally every single little thing that we do. And, like, if you get uppity about these tiny little things that you find in AI, like, or like, tiny little things that you find in the products that you're currently buying, you're just gonna, like, live a very, very miserable life. So why don't you just, like, just shrug and deal with it, man? No. Look, I'm gonna old man who yells at clouds thing until I'm, like... I was gonna say blue in the face, but that doesn't really work with me. Bluer in the face, maybe? I don't... Anyway. My point still stands. I don't care. Like... Whatever. If this makes me an old codger, if this makes me, like, you know... If this makes me backwards with the times... I don't care. Dude, there were people like... So, I was one of those people that was like, I don't understand the whole Siri thing. I don't understand why we can't just, like, do a quick Google search. You have thumbs, right? You have the ability to type into the screen a Google search, right? Why do you need... I guess, like, an accessibility feature is kind of nice, so it's kind of nice that you don't necessarily... need to use your thumbs in order to do that. So, like, I can get it from that perspective. But everybody else is just like, dude, like, just... On top of that, I feel... Purple? Yeah, maybe. Maybe purple in the face. In my opinion, I feel like understanding Google search and also understanding, like, you know, being able to understand how to do your own personal research is important. And I feel the way things were set up previously with the whole, you know, you go to Google, you type in a particular prompt of, like, things that you want to find, and then you yourself go to the links and then you inspect them and see if there's any validity to them. And if you do, if there is validity, then bada bing, bada boom, you found yourself something like valid, and now you could run with it. As opposed to ChatGPT, whose like entire concept is, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the information, and then you need to believe it 100% right off the spot. No, we're not gonna give any sources for what we're currently giving you. We're just gonna hope that you take our word for it. No. Not okay with that. But anyway, no, Firefox is currently moving into like doing the whole AI thing. So yeah, on my main computer, I have swapped over to WaterFox, which again, WaterFox is just like sort of an independent third-party person who's working with like Firefox's code, or like, you know, the back-end code, like the open source stuff. Personally, I really like open source projects. What like the thing I like about like open source projects is that it keeps people like, what's the word that I'm currently looking for? Not credit. I think like it keeps people responsible for the code and the changes that they make. Oh yeah, before 2019. Smart. Yeah, because everything after that is just kind of a mess and a half. Oh hey, Victor's kind of currently talking to me. Beatrix, I was cleaning out the lab and found this. Perhaps you have some use for it? I believe it's still in working order. You know what they say, one person's trash. Oh, I didn't even see what that was. Ribbon streamers. Why did you have that in your lab? I remembered the word. So what I like about open source software is that it holds people accountable for the code that they're making, and it like keeps things completely transparent. That way, people that like have knowledge about coding and whatnot can actively look at the code, see what it does, and they can like criticize whoever it is that is currently making that code and be like, hey, why the heck did you decide to implement this? That doesn't make any sense. I like that kind of accountability. And so that's why I tend to lean more on the side of, you know, it's open source projects and stuff. Thank you very much for the... Yay, floor! All right, let's buff this guy up. Oh, I've used up everything. Wasn't there a, Oh, yeah, I suppose there isn't any sort of corral, is there? Anyway. I now have a new source of food. It's a veggie. Who would benefit from this right about now? Probably the bunnies, honestly. Or the normal slimes. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, you guys got food. My guess is the normal slimes are probably, like, starving at the moment. Hello! I have a new food for you. Sorry. Oh. There we go. Enjoy! Yay! Oh, come on, eat up. Good boy. Are you still hungry? Maybe you're sleepy. I don't know. I'm glad my friend who likes to code calls out other coders who use AI. I appreciate that. Oh, dude, I just recently heard a story about that. Now I'm trying to recall what was the group? There's a specific like gnome or something. No, not gnome. Checking out WaterFox now. Hey, you know what? Before you go with that, hold on. I'm gonna send in chat. I'm gonna send that one link that I sent to the Discord because I think it's really important to get the word directly from, from them, their opinion on the whole like AI thing. Here we go. WaterFox's blog, no AI here, response to Mozilla. I read that thing entirely, and I agree with what they say 100%. Truncated version is that they basically say that, yeah, no, there's no need for AI to be in a, like, we don't need AI to be like browser deep. A browser is supposed to be like a utility to access the internet. We don't necessarily need it to be in a browser, and in fact, like, the way that current like large language models currently work, it's very unethical. It probably bogs like processes down. It makes things like run shittier. It like and in general, like the way that the current system is at the moment, it's like black box mentality as opposed to being a fully transparent process. Like you can't get the information on what the code is based off of. And the one thing that I do like about that particular blog is that it doesn't completely throw out the concept of AI like right away. Like, they talk about the benefits of AI and being like, no, there's actually some good AI products that are out there and people that are actually making some pretty good stuff out of it. The problem is the ones that are currently taking off at the moment are not that, and they are actually kind of being toxic in a major way. Like, they're stealing people's content, they're regurgitating it right back at you, like all mushed up. Anyway, they didn't say that exactly in that link, mind you. I don't know. Personally, I will take a listen to anybody who is willing to like look at the evidence that's currently in front of them and weigh all of the options and make their decisions based on facts and logic. And that is what I feel WaterFox is currently doing. They're not just outright saying like, no, AI evil, kill now. Although that's what a lot of people are saying. And frankly, I'm kind of, I'm in that boat pretty majorly. But I won't immediately completely kill it. This does remind me, though, like, not too long ago, I've mentioned this before, but I went and I completely banned generative AI content being posted in my Discord channels. And I made a point in that post to basically tell people, like, hey, I know that there are logical and also ethical ways that you can pull off doing generative AI and language models and stuff. I'm not going to poo-poo on the entire concept of it, but what I will say is that most people don't do that. For most people, they go out to these like large language models like OpenAI, and they either make their own fork of it, or they just use like somebody else's model that steals from other people. And I do not like that. Ethically, I think that's fucked. And the problem with me is that, like, at the moment, trying to discern between, the stuff that steals from people and the stuff that doesn't steal from people is a headache and a half. And I don't want to have to deal with that bullshit. So for me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut all of the frustration out of my process and say, generative AI is just not allowed. Goodbye. Enough. I don't want it. Oh, shoot, would it? Oh, you do eat fruit. Never mind. I appreciate that you did that in the server. Been in other servers where there was a big problem with people sending AI stuff. I think the funny part about it is that, like, there's one person that was in the server. I'm not going to say exactly who they are, but they did ask whether or not, like, AI memes were also a part of that, a part of that group. Like, Is that not allowed either? And I responded that no, yeah, like that's not allowed. If it's generative AI, I don't allow it. And then they proceeded to post an AI response message anyways. And I'm like, really? You're really testing the waters here? Okay. Cool. No, I've made my stance. Gotta go now, feeling EP. Ooh, absolutely. Well, you just recently finished stream, so that does make sense. And also, it's a little bit late in the night. So, yeah. I hope you have a very good night. Sleep well. Have a very good rest of your day, and good day tomorrow. Look at all those chickens. Okay, where are we at so far? I need to purchase that guy. Alright, we're getting somewhere. How you doing on... Oh, I got a new message. Funny enough, there's so many chickens that are inside this pen that it's kind of self-sustaining itself. Which is weird. Although there are no more roostros in there. That slime went and, like, ate their last roostro, so... won't be alive for long. No, I feel like there was something else, like, AI-related. Oh, yeah, alright. So, again, one thing... I'm gonna check what Victor has to say. I saw this item and it just screamed Beatrix. And that's how I realized I'd accidentally hit it with the sentience ray. But don't worry, everything is fine and very normal now. I thought you should have it. Red return home portal. Very nice, thank you. Anywho, so there are a couple of games that have kind of been like put underneath a microscope for the AI practices that they have currently been showing off. You know, one of them was the developer that made Expedition 33. Now the game itself has absolutely no AI related content at all in it. But they did like admit that the process that they used to actually make Expedition 33 did involve some AI for like concept art. And there are a lot of people that have started like cracking their knuckles, being like, okay, time to cancel Expedition 33. Which, let's be real, at this current moment in time, that is not happening. I hate to say it, but yeah. Expedition 33 is kind of like... people have bought that game up in droves. There's not really any kind of like... You're not gonna stop it from like having popularity, you know what I mean? It's kind of one in that respect. I will say that I definitely think that pop culture-wise, I think it's important for us to actually point out the fact that AI was used in some capacity during the production of that game. And there are people that are going to look at that and just be like, again, the whole like, come on, man, you really going to be that persnickety about it? It's a tiny little portion of their development cycle that use generative AI. Come on, man. Is it that big of a deal? Problem, the second that you decide to just let something like that go, that's the moment that like the gaming industry as a whole, at large, is gonna take it and run with it. Prove me wrong. I guarantee you, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I remember how simple buying a video game was nowadays. Or like, well, back in the day, rather. Back in the day, buying a video game was very simple. All you had to do was just go to some sort of a retailer, whether it be digital, whether it be physical, what have you. You bought the game, bada bing, bada boom, you had the game, you had all the content in it, and that was the end of it. And then, like, downloadable content became a thing, and we kind of shrugged and said, okay, you know what, I guess that's fine, because, I mean, you know, it's like having a cake and then having somebody, like, bring you some more cake later. You know, it's just like, sweet, we get 2 cakes. So, like, by itself, that wasn't inherently bad. But then people started to notice that, like, you know, there was content coming out that seems like something that probably should have come out with a standard game. You know, it's just like, what do you mean? Like, that... Why didn't you just package that in with the regular game? That's kind of silly. And they made the excuse of, oh, well, this was content that was developed after the game went gold. You know, the developers, they continued to work on this content several months after the game was completely finished. And so, by that standard, it's technically a completely different piece of content, and therefore, we need to technically count it as, like, downloadable content that is extra that you can purchase. And, like, we looked at that and we're like, okay, fine, I guess. And then there was the whole Mass Effect 3 debacle, where that is exactly what they said happened. They're just like, oh yeah, no, this is extra content that the developers started working on before the game went gold. And then somebody went and, like, they dug into the code of the game, and they're just like, hold on, no, that code is... Thank you for the can. And then they said, like, oh, no, that code is absolutely in the game. Like, you can find it. The only thing that you get when you buy the DLC is, like, an unlock key that allows you to access that content. That's all it is. So, like, no, this was definitely made before the game went gold. What are you talking about? And nowadays, the veil has been completely lifted. Like, nowadays, AAA games, they just kind of... They make a game, and then they expect there to be at least, like, 5 different variations of the game that you can buy right out of the gate, with many different types of, like, DLC content that you can, like, staple onto it. DLC content that, like, ramps up the cost of the game up to something like an extra... What, like, you know, games can be like 120 freaking bucks now. But, you know, they excuse it with just being like, well, the base game is like $60. Oh, wait, no, scratch that, $70. Oh, wait, no, scratch that, $80. I like getting physical games and having, like, posters inside. Yeah, that tends to be kind of fun. Anyways, what I'm saying is that you give the AAA development cycle an inch, they take a mile. It takes them a while, you know, it takes a while for them to ramp up to that point, but they will. 100% they will. So if people don't stomp their foot and immediately tell them no on this particular thing right now, they're just going to keep doing it. And it's only going to get worse. This is why, like, I'm a major advocate of the whole, like, I think we absolutely should have, like, an AI, you know, like, and some sort of, like, an AI warning label on shit like this. We should be able to, like, actively look from a distance and be able to tell that something was created with AI or not. And I think that should stretch into the development process, like, you know, the early development process. If they used generative AI for the concept art process, yeah, no. Yo, you note that down. You tell people that you did that. My issue is that, like, you know, I don't want something like that to get super ridiculously cloudy. And then, like, you know, I had to go into, like, a crazy freaking rant about this. I've already been ranting a heck of a lot this episode. Sorry, but... Oh, Carl's heading out. Okie dokie. Have a very good one. Yeah. Such an idiot. How you guys doing? You got food? You guys got food? Not really. I'm gonna get you some food. Anyway, what was I just about to rant about? There was another, like, off branch that I was about to say. Oh, yeah, right. So, there's already a lot of stuff that is kind of obscured in our day and age thanks to, like, you know, consumerism and capitalism. Like, you know how they say there is no ethical consumption under capitalism? That's absolutely true. 100%. Like, if there is, like, if you buy a thing off the shelf, I guarantee you something happened in the development of that particular product that you don't approve of. But there's nothing you can do about it because at the end of the day, that's just how our society works. You know, like, they did something terrible to put that on your table, and now you just kind of have to forever live with that. Well, you know what? I don't want that kind of thing to start happening with video games. Like, I'd like to put my foot down on that right now. I'd like to know that, like, if some game studio or some game company is actively using AI for the sake of making whatever it is they make, that it is disclosed. For some people, they won't care. But I do. I definitely do. And if I buy a video game later on, and later on down the road, I find out that it, like, turned out that they used AI to create it, how do you think I'm gonna feel? Like, that's money that has sort of, like, flown out of my wallet that I'm never getting back. Makes me sad. Makes me angry. Look at this guy living in heaven. He's just like, look at all these chickens. Boop. Last night, my mom told me a very funny story about, okay, that happened at a McDonald's two-way drive-through. All right, I'm curious about this. Let me know what happened at a. Also, wait a minute, a McDonald's two-way drive-through, two-way. What are you going on about? Music? I don't know. Music Box plays a soothing tune that greatly reduces slime agitation. Okay, well, this guy's living in heaven at this point. Here, I need Elder Collector. Coolio. Come to think of it, I probably should use that music box and a couple of other pens here. Some of these guys are, like, ravenous. Alright, so the name escapes me right now. The developer behind Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, you skipped back 10 seconds. Okay. The developer of Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot of heat currently going on with that particular company right now. Because they have made the decision that AI is going to be a something that they do within their development cycle from here on out. And they have, like, actively disclosed that that is going to be the case. And people are upset about it because they do not like the fact that AI is a thing and they want them to stop doing the thing. So much so that I think the CEO of that company, they went and, like, blanked out all of their, like, Twitter profile pictures, and they've gone dark on their account. Which, by the way, I want to say something about that. So that's something that I see a lot of, like, younger people do, like people within the age range of, like, 12 to 17. Like, whenever some, like, really terrible thing happens, or, you know, something that they deem to be really terrible, the thing that they do is they go to their profile, and then they change their profile to be, like, a black screen, and then they get rid of their profile information, and they basically, like, you know, they ramp up the drama of the whole thing, and don't do that. Can I just say, don't do that? That's not a good look. And you know, I know you're probably at like a very emotional state. So I'm not trying to like make fun of anybody that's ever done that in the past. Um, but I will say, like, it definitely does not make you look any better from like, you know, a standpoint of like, oh yeah, that's a mature person. No, the second I see that, the second I'm like, oh, so you're pretty emotionally unstable, eh? I especially think that that's something that you shouldn't do when you are the CEO of a major company. Um, you know, like, people are gonna be critical about the things that you do online. I don't know whether or not anybody has been really horrible with them to DMs. Um, I don't know whether or not like maybe it's been really heavy, and if that is the case, I'm really sorry about that, and I really hope that people like treat you with a little bit more respect. However, like, I the response you give is, I mean, you know, I guess that response is better than just you throwing up a middle finger and being like, "Shove off, fuckers." Okay, it's better than that, but you know, maybe just radio silence and continuing to move on as things were would be better. That's what I think. I don't know. From a PR perspective, see, I'm not like a PR expert or anything, but I've been on the internet for a while, and I kind of know how the cogs turn, so to speak. So I think that might be a better option. But anyway, no, so the developers of Baldur's Gate 3 have actively basically said that yeah, they're going to start doing AI in their games from here on out. And I remember seeing this, and the first thing I thought was like, well, thank fuck I didn't go and buy Baldur's Gate 3. Because now that I know that, like, I definitely wouldn't feel very comfortable about the, you know, the game being in my inventory. I certainly wouldn't want to play any of their games at this point. Because I don't approve of that. That makes me sad. I don't know, the way they put it is, they, again, a lot of developers are currently drawing a specific line in the sand where they're like, you know, we're not going to use AI as actual content in the video game. What we're going to do is we're going to make concept art and initial, like, scripts and stuff using AI, and then we're going to have, like, an actual writer and an actual, like, concept artist flesh it out after that. That tells me that you're completely creatively bankrupt, first of all. Second of all, that's literally the job of your script writers and your concept artists. Like, that's what they're supposed to be doing anyway. So, like, why are you wasting your time with shoving, like, generative AI and large language models anyway? Like, what? That just seems like you're adding an extra layer of complexity to your process that doesn't actually mean anything, and you're only shoving, like, you know, the artificial intelligence portion in simply to try and like capitalize on a particular trend, and that trend is really stupid. And please stop it. Come on, man. You're better than that. Anyway, if there's one thing that I've learned though, is that like I've seen plenty of stories out there of people that have like, you know, they have done the whole crack your knuckles and tell a company that they're doing something stupid thing. And that has worked. You know, like, companies have backpedaled on stuff like that, where they've gone like, oops, yeah, nope, you're right. Sorry, this goes against our values. You know, we made the decision to do this anyway, but like, yeah, we're going back. We're going back on that. We apologize. Don't hate us anymore. Please give us money. Oh, shoot, I don't have anything to give you. Well, it's nice to hang out anyway. Yeah, buddy. You having a good day? What? Nobody asked you. Oh. Bye. I suppose I could have fed them these. Oh well. Alright, Phoenix has got a story. My mom and stepdad were getting ready to merge into the single lane drive-through after ordering, and this woman in the other lane didn't merge properly because you're supposed to do a zipper effect on those. Yeah. And also, in those types of lanes, you're supposed to, like, be respectful and go, like, one car at a time. So, you know, left, right, left, right, left, right. You know, it's like, that's common courtesy. She cut them off, and then my stepdad started jokingly yelling and cussing her out, and he didn't realize my mom's window was down, and the lady heard everything. Oops! Heard everything said about how she doesn't know how to merge, and how she was a cunt. So she paid for their food. Wait, she paid for their food for them. She knew he didn't mean it. Oopsies. Oh, road rage. Not even once. My dad is the road rage kind of person. Like, that makes me a little bit sad. He's not, like, a horrible person or something. Like, he's a freaking awesome guy. But, like, he does have an issue when it comes to driving. And I think that's one of those things that has only gotten worse as he's gotten older. You know, like the longer that you stay, like, actually, the older you get and the more stupid drivers that you see, the more frustrated you get at people, and eventually you're just like, why don't people understand how to drive? Gosh freaking damn it. I get that, honestly. Oh, but it's just funny being in the car with him, just being like, look at this asshole. And I'm just sitting there being like, yeah, I see him. I see the asshole. Oh, God. Where's the Tangle slimes? I got one. I need multiple. Where are they hiding? I don't know. Is this like one of those species of slimes that, like, one spawns per, like, location? And it's like your job to just go out and find them? I hope not. I'm trying to think, like, do I have any road rage types of stories? Or, oh. You know what? It's getting pretty high populated out here. So, I'm just gonna go home. And, y'all can deal with that. Woohoo! Alright. Gonna head off to bed, so, I can maybe... Oh, maybe get to bed. Don't get too distracted while finishing something. I'm heading off so I can... Okay. Sentence. Anyway, awesome. Well, have a very good night, Nova. Thank you for that. That helps my brain move faster. Now, lucky for me, I've never had like a relative that was like, you know, somebody that like screamed at people. Just like heavily judge other people on the road. That's it. That's all that they do. I'm thankful for that. Though I have seen some like interesting road rage videos. So here's the funny thing that I've seen recently. You watch like on the good old TikTok, you tend to just watch whatever the algorithm thinks you want. And if you linger on a video for a little bit too long, the algorithm will start feeding you a bunch of like, you know, crazy shit. No, I shouldn't say crazy shit. It feeds you, again, if you watch one thing, it basically says, oh, you want this thing forever and ever now, right? Okay, here you go. Here's a constant amount of it for you. TikTok loves you, lol. Well, I've been getting like a lot of like random like police chase videos and stuff because I stuck around on one for a little bit too long, and now all of a sudden like TikTok is just like, oh hey, you like to see cop drama, sweet, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. Not really. Honestly, cop drama stuff just sort of like, you know, enhances my my stress. Which is interesting because like my dad actually really likes watching like those cop shows where they like pull people over and they like, you know, some interesting or weird things happen on the road. And I'm not a gigantic fan of, well, actually, funny enough, I'm not a huge fan of shows like that, but I have watched a few of them in the past. I actually remember one. We were talking a little bit earlier about like the stuff that I have watched previously when I was younger. And I do remember there was a channel that existed a long time ago. I don't know whether or not it still exists in any capacity, but there was a channel called Spike TV. Imagine like, what's a good way to put it? I don't know. Basically, it's the perfect thing for like a really edgy teen or for like a very immature like 30-year-old. I think is a good way to put it. Yeah, I watched Spike TV, and Spike TV like it had a bunch of different shows on it. Like it had this show called MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, which is funny because when I got older, I found out that that show is actually called Takeshi's Castle over in Japan. And MXC is literally just like they just dubbed over episodes of Takeshi's Castle. In a horrible way, by the way. Like, it's so strange watching that show now, knowing that like, oh yeah, wait, this is basically a dub. It was kind of like, you know, it's like they got the abridged series dub treatment. Except professionally done for television. So I remember that show was on there, but I also remember that there were some other, like, there were also some, I think there were some cop drama videos and stuff on there as well. And I remember I watched a couple of those. I seem to recall that a lot of the stuff that I watched when I was younger, I very likely watched just because I was bored and I had nothing else to do. Ain't that how it is, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and God, there's one other show that I remember watching when I was younger, and it was called Mansers. That show was stupid. Straight up, completely stupid. The whole point of the show was that it was kind of a trivia and facts show, except they framed it in this like super edgy, hardcore, super cool way, where they're, you know, they take like a curiosity sort of thing. You know, it's just like, how many Doritos would you eat before your stomach explodes? You know, that kind of thing. And then they go and they actually put some science to it, where they're just like, well, all right, here is some information that is like actually clinical. Oh, golden slime! You son of a bitch! Where'd he go? And also, what do you do in the event a golden slime shows up? I'm not entirely sure. Do you catch it? Do you pen? Do you put it in a pen? Can you pen it? Can you breed the slime? Can you feed it? Son of a bitch. I don't remember. Why do you have to fly away so, like, dramatically? It's so frustrating. Okay. Well, I'll try and be ready for it next time, I guess. Okie dokie. Collected a few Jellystone. Still need to, like, look around for a little bit of brine. Before I forget, the cats have been, like, desperately attempting to try and get out of the pen. I think it's a good idea to make the air net. Just because I don't trust them. Very desperate. Clawing up the walls. There we go. Anyway. So there was a moment in time where I did think that maybe I should, like, go out and pick up more of the box sets of all of the old shows that I watched back in the day, and, like, you know, we've started doing these watch party things on Discord, and that'd be a good place to do it. I think for certain things, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let them die. That nobody needs to remember certain things. Like, you know, certain pieces of media kind of deserve to be, like, left in the dust, in my opinion. So, I likely probably won't be doing that. I'll reserve those times for stuff that, like, maybe people actively want to watch. I mean, I certainly don't want to do, like, a movie night where actively everybody has decided they don't want to hang out, and instead they're just like, no, you can watch it by yourself. That'd be the ultimate nightmare. Just be like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna go and watch this DVD box set all by myself. Sit in a Discord and cry. I see Thora has something to say to me. Bia, I'm glad I was able to catch you. I have some big news to share, and this rock isn't exactly bustling with folks whose ears I can bend. Hobson and I have been thinking a lot about what new adventure is next for us. We've been reading each other's travel journals, trying to find places neither of us have been. But even though we found some, none of them were really calling to us. Maybe things were finally slowing down for us. Then we got to talking and came to realize that what we love more than anything right now is just being here with one another on my ranch. This ranch was one of the first of the far, far range, and we've both learned so much, so we started talking about maybe passing all that on to someone. So Hobson and I have decided to start a family. And for the first time in so long as I can remember, I'm scared. Hobson and I are both so independent, we don't know the first thing about being parents, let alone raising a kid on the far, far range. But I love that old coot, and the thought of seeing a little one looking back at me with his eyes makes me smile. I think that alone makes me feel like I'd move a mountain to make this happen. So, I've got some work to do here. So much to get in order. Thanks for hearing me out, Bia. Sometimes just sharing your fears with someone makes you feel like you're no longer alone with those fears. Take care, Bia. Now, I didn't want to be rude or anything, but, like, how old is Thora? I don't want to be too mean. I don't want to say anything that would be really, really, really rude. However, like, you look like you're 60. How has menopause not taken a hold of you and choked the life out of any chance that could possibly happen? Am I crazy? Is it just one of those, like, oh, you grade early? You probably grade early. If you're talking about having kids, then, like, yeah, that's probably the case. I know some people that have, like, grade early, and also they are rocking it. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Got some more of these plorts. There we go. Alright, this farm is currently, I will never get over the fact that these guys just have a frickin', like, TV in the corner. It's just like a corner of Fox News, except it's chickens. Well, you guys are currently living the high life ever since I put up this water lettuce thing. Okay, where is the... Oh, it's over here. How many of those have I collected so far? 13. Nice. So what should I be, like, gunning for first? Resource harvester. Okay. We're missing a couple question marks there. Question marks, question marks, question marks. Ooh, hello. Water tank. Oh, adds a specialized vac tank that allows you to store. Okay, all right. Nice. Need a little bit more deep brine to make that happen, though. But there's a lot of resources that I have not managed to get my hands on yet, and I'm taking a guess that that is entirely because I have not, like, ventured out into the wilderness and, you know, actively started looking around for more resources. But I mean, like, you know, we're already going pretty crazy right now. Like, I just recently went and picked myself up, yeah, a bunch of these water lettuces. It's pretty wild, man. There's only so much that my brain can hold at one time. This is too much change. This game works way too fast, and I need it to slow down. It's rolling out all the features too quickly. There we go. I got a lot of money, though. Is there anything over on the desert farm that I could possibly upgrade? I really need to put, like, a teleportation pad between here and here. Okay, you're doing fine. I believe you're completely upgraded. You're completely upgraded. I don't need to upgrade this. I'll do it anyway. Because I'll need it eventually, I guess. Yeah, nice. As for that, we've got 2 more plots currently available. What is this location here? The Tide Pools, a coastal sanctuary for coral life forms and seaweed. This expansion to the conservatory is guaranteed to fill your shoes with sand. And it's 6,000 monies. Well, I think I'll go and get all of the surrounding areas first before I decide to buy something through that. I know how game progression works. You buy the cheaper stuff first, and then you, like, you know, you roll out from there. Honey, you barely touched your water cabbage. Brain empty. There is nothing in there. I thought I didn't have enough room in the scene for all my main OCs, but it turns out I might. Whoa, nice! Well, the good news about, like... Oh, okay, well, actually, I don't know what medium you're currently using to actually draw this. Is this like a physical drawing on paper, or is this like a digital drawing? If it's a digital drawing, the size of the canvas is entirely up to you. But I'm assuming since you said that, you're probably... Oh, it's Ibis paint. Well, then the world is your oyster. You can make it as large as you want. Unless you've already, like, you know, started drawing the background, which maybe you have. And it's just like, oh, I didn't account for this. Oh, there's an entire corner of the area that I didn't even draw. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know. Drawing is a process. Y'all, why are you trying to escape? You hungry? One of you is hungry. The rest of you don't look very hungry. Just take these carrots, man. What's your favorite food, by the way? Shit! Oops! Whoopsie doodle! Well, okay, the next time you guys are out of food, I will replace it with water lettuce. And then I guess I'll just start feeding you guys carrots. Fair. No harm done. But dude, more plorts. Old plorts are currently up. Interesting. So are there any other, like, noteworthy things that have happened as of recently that I want to discuss? Not really. Also, hold on a second. I want to check. How is the processing going on that one thing that I set up? It's still going. Jesus. I started that thing up, like, at 5:30, and it's still going. I'm currently trying to process a video at the moment, and yeah, it's quite a big one, but it's also a really tiny file size. But the process that I'm currently... Okay. Should I not... I'm trying to be, like, vague about this, but maybe I shouldn't be vague about it. Maybe I should just straight up just say it. Okay, so I've got this DVD footage. I'm trying to figure out how to convert some DVD footage so that, like, it looks nice. Ooh, you have 14 characters drawn. Nice. All right. So here's the quandary that I'm currently I've run into at the moment. So the standard frame rate of a DVD movie is 30 frames per second, or to be more specific, 29 point... Death. Several hours of rest should fix you right up. Oops. I'm fine. Pia will head home and rest until she healed up. Don't forget, you can always adjust the challenge to your comfort level in this gameplay settings. Well, luckily I didn't have anything on me, so I didn't lose anything. Whoops. Anyway, back to what I was saying, though. So, standard frame rate for, like, a DVD is about, like... Actually, it's about 24 frames per second if you're watching, like, a, an actual, like, feature-length film that was released in theaters. Like, 24 frames per second or 23 point something. If it's, like, a TV special or something like that, those tended to be recorded at 30 frames per second or 29.97 frames. Now, the issue with this is that the footage, like, it might be 30 frames per second, but it's also interlaced frames. If you don't know what that is, back in the day, footage that was being streamed to... Actually, no, it wasn't streamed to our televisions. We were watching it via, like, cable television, or we were watching it through, like, VHS tapes, or through DVDs, or what have you. But that footage was being sent to our TVs interlaced. What interlacing is instead of drawing the image in, like, a single wipe of the screen, that's called progressive, by the way. Instead of it being, like, one frame, and then it moves on to the next frame, and then it moves on to the next frame after that, televisions used to draw the frames of whatever you were watching line by line by line. The reason they did that was because it better adhered to the standards of, like, old cathode ray television screens. AKA those big old boob tubes. You remember those? The ones that had, like, the big back to them and they were, like, super heavy. Basically, if you've ever seen, like, a TV head at any point in time in pop culture, Yeah, it was one of those, except it was, you know, actually functional and worked. Anyway, so yeah, and that's how those TVs used to work. Instead of just drawing the image all in one single frame, a cathode ray tube would like shoot a line of radiation or like, you know, a specific like particle, electronic particle across the screen in lines back and forth, and it would in rapid pace, like super fast in front of your eyes. But it's so fast you can't even see it. And so to adhere to that, footage that was being sent to you via cable or watched on movies or on DVDs, that footage would be cast to the TV, interlaced. So it would do the exact same thing, drawing the image line by line by line by line by line. On top of that, there are several like fields that are sent. So like there would be like a top layer of lines, and then there would be a bottom layer of lines. It's really fascinating stuff for me. Like as somebody who's a little bit of like a nerd when it comes to you know, footage technology and stuff like that, is neat to me. But here's the problem with that. We've moved over to progressive scan types of movie. Like I said, progressive scan is literally exactly that, where it gives you one frame and then it progresses to the next frame, like instantly. The issue with this is that a bunch of old footage for like interlaced media, unfortunately doesn't really work very well on certain TVs and certain screens. It especially doesn't work with like editing softwares and stuff of that nature. Because when you take that interlaced footage and you try and transfer it over to being progressive, you'll see like these really weird like interlaced lines when you like look at a video. Here, let me go ahead and actually look up a picture real quick, because like I feel like me just saying this isn't really gonna like get the point across very well. Here, yeah, okay, this is a good example of what I was talking about when it comes to like, you know, the technology. So interlace is, yeah, it draws like one line of you know, like one set of lines, and then it draws like another set of lines after that in between the spaces where the lines weren't. And it moves so fast, but it creates like a perfect image in front of your face. Progressive is just, it gives you the frame. Full stop. You know, nothing complicated, nothing crazy. And honestly, like, I'm very happy we have technology nowadays that can just handle progressive, you know, progressive signals as opposed to just having to interlace everything. But the problem with this is that when you try and upscale or like upgrade a piece of video from interlace to progressive footage, you get this phenomenon where, let me see if I can find like a good example of this. This isn't a very good example. Shoot. Can I find a better one? Here, interface lines TV. Can I get a better image, please? Something that doesn't look fake. I'd like to find like a really good, like, actual example of interlace line. It kind of does it. Although I think this is oh, this is a Photoshop tutorial on how to make something that looks like it has interlaced lines. Okay, well, it's not real, but it looks the closest to what I'm trying to shoot for here, so. Oh, actually, wait. Nope. Never mind. I found something that's actually perfect. Dang it, give me a moment. Here we go. So, when you try and upgrade a signal from being an interlaced video to a progressive video, it causes this phenomenon right here. This is like scan lines. Like, you know, interlace lines that have been merged together to create one like solid frame. Problem with that, anything that is like actively moving really fast, aka you can see that this is a video of somebody on a skateboard. It creates all this like, you know, jaggedy line kind of artifacting, and it looks bad. On top of that, like, it doesn't look as smooth either. Like, you know, everything looks, instead of looking 60 frames per second, it looks sort of like 30 frames per second. It looks a heck of a lot less smooth, and it really sucks. So I've been doing some research to figure out if it is possible to, with our current technology, can you take interlaced footage and make it look more like progressive footage and also retain the exact same smoothness of an interlace video? Because the weird part and the weird phenomenon is interlaced video technically runs at 30 frames per second, but with the way that it draws those frames, it basically has to draw two different fields of frames. Like, it basically draws two fields of frames for every single frame that it makes, if that makes any sense. So, like, you know, the first half and then the second half. And it does it all in the span of, like, you know, the time that it takes to make one frame. So, technically speaking, you are making around 59.94 frames instead of making 30 frames, if that makes any... It's weird. Math. Like, for God's sakes. But that in turn actually made a lot of footage that came out back in the day on CRT television look ridiculously smooth. Like, crazy smooth. But you can't... I've been trying to figure out a way to maybe upscale that so you can take something that was 30 frames per second and turn it into a 60 frame per second video. I'm trying. I'm doing so much research on the internet to see if maybe I can find somebody that knows how to do that. And there are a couple of people that say, yeah, it's totally possible. Here's my method for doing it. And then I try it, and it looks like absolute sludge. And I'm just like, okay, no. And then there was one really unhelpful guy that was just like, wait a second. If it's 30 frames per second, then why are you trying to turn it into 60 frames per second? Like, this isn't AI, like, frame fudging bullshit. Why don't you just, like, keep it 30 frames per second, dickhead? It's just like, thanks. You know exactly what you're talking about, buddy. I'm not saying that I'm a genius either. Like, you know, I'm not some, like, savant when it comes to this stuff. But at the very least, like, I've looked into this, and I know that there is slightly untapped possibilities for being able to maybe change something from running in 30 frames per second up to 60. Possibly. I don't know whether or not, like, it might affect the quality of the video, like, you know, vertical-wise. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, that's currently what my computer is doing at the moment. Like, on top of me playing Slime Rancher, I'm also trying to more or less upscale this video. But my god, this is a lot of number crunching, and it's taking, like, forever to finally do. That being said, if it takes forever for me to do, and if it works, I won't complain. I will only complain once I find out that it doesn't work. At that point, then I'll stomp my feet and just be like, gosh damn it! Wasted my time for nothing. All that processing power. I'll kick my feet and I'll be angry later. Okay, God, I get so turned around whenever I'm doing anything here. Just like, where is the next location? Where's the desert? Where's the desert at? It's over here. Yes. I just know that later on, what the? What are you? What? Where'd you go? Hi. Open. Right. Quantum component you just acquired vibrates with an almost outwardly energy. See what you can build with it in the lab. What? What just happened? What? Gas? Man, this is why I keep playing this game. I'm just like rolling through the usual, doing whatever the heck, and then suddenly, hi, this mechanic exists now. What the fuck? Hey, how you doing, buddy? How's your kingdom? Are you stuffed? You look stuffed. He lives in his own food. All right, well. Excellent news, buddies. I actually have a food you really enjoy. Yeah, yeah. Very nice. Here, let me grab all those plorts. I'm about to flood the market with this stuff. Goody. I'll drop off this guy. Anyway, my brain shut off for a moment there. I was probably talking. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so I was about to say, I know that, like, later on, I'm probably going to, like, watch this VOD. Possibly. Who knows? If I'm bored. I'll watch this VOD back, and I'll listen to myself try to explain the differences between interlace and progressive, and I'll be sitting there just being like, you stumbly piece of shit! You are doing terrible with explaining that. You are the worst teacher. Stop it. Why are you even trying? Cut that out. Call yourself a streamer. Like, you can't even, like, describe something while you're playing a video game. That is literally your job. Well, I'm sorry, future me. I'm sorry there's something I'm really, really excited about that my brain has just decided to clog up on. I think that's the main problem. My brain just, like, clogs up on everything. There's just, like... Congratulations. You are going to hyperfixate on whatever it is this subject is. Not only that, but you're going to hyperfixate so much, and you're going to stumble on your words so much, that it's going to be completely incomprehensible to anybody that isn't you. Including future you. Future you is just going to be like, what are you saying? What's your brain? Are you okay? Do you need some water? You need some milk! Oh, good lord. Lord Central. Well, I think stuff's starting to wind down here. And I think I would just like to just chill out for the rest of the night. I done good, I believe. And I'd like to, I think I'd like to babysit this video encode just a little while longer and just call it a night. But this was chill. I really needed this. It's been a very, like, busy and hectic, like, week or so here. And, oh god, did I even talk about why it's been so hectic? I mean, one, holidays. 2 pet problems, or not my pet problems, but like family pet problems. I won't go into it just because that's another diatribe. I might go into it like maybe later. Who knows? Might talk about it on Saturday. Heck, I mean, I actually, we're currently like waiting on something specific. It's basically a watch and monitor kind of setup at the moment for what I'm about to discuss. So it's actually to my benefit to just like wait on talking about it until a little bit later. So alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a stream because this was very nice and relaxing. Also fun and like very noteworthy. Alrighty. So I'm moving over to the end screen here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out for a little while here. Hopefully you can get your knee fixed tomorrow. It locked up on me last. Oh! Ooh, how'd that happen? Shoot. Well, now I'm curious. Now I kind of want to know. Gosh darn it. Anyway, my regular outro stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Thank you very much for coming out. My stream schedule, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. All of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The next stream I got coming up is on Saturday, and I will be doing Silksong, which, oh, by the way, have you heard about the DLC news for Silksong? He's gonna be coming out in 2016, apparently. I wonder when. Like, good lord, don't make us wait too long for that. I want to see, I want to know. And also, how long were they planning on this DLC to begin with, is what I'm wondering. Dude, DLC for the game that was originally just supposed to be DLC for something else. Crazy. So much work that Team Cherry has been putting in. My god. Anywho. So yeah, more Silksong is happening on Saturday. Sunday is an interesting day because that is going to be the first day in our 10-year anniversary week. And I'm going to be playing Jackbox. If you have never played a Jackbox game, it is basically a party game that allows you to be able to play remotely from any old device that has a web browser on it. So, aka maybe yours, perhaps? Ooh. But anyway, I'm going to be hosting these games. I'm going to be bringing in some people into the voice call, and we'll see whether or not we get like a packed house. I don't know. I'm kind of crossing my fingers that maybe we'll get a whole bunch of people. I don't know. But then, for any places that are not filled in, I will be handing the room code out to my my Discord server, and the people in the Discord will be able to potentially join in the games. And then, if you can't get into the main portion of the game, every single one of these Jackbox games has the ability to join the audience, which allows you to do like certain things that will maybe impact the ending of the game, and like maybe we'll see, maybe there'll be like a person who wins based on the audience vote. Who knows? It's pretty fun stuff. Like, honestly, I'd recommend coming out to those because I mean, especially since Jackbox Party Pack 11 is really good. Like, I've played a couple of games from them, and they've done a good job for the 11th chapter of, like, the games that they make. Anyway, that is the plan. I suppose, like, I could talk about some of the other stream days since, like, I've got that planned out already. The following Wednesday, instead of playing more Slime Rancher, I'm actually going to be playing Hat in Time mods, which a lot of people have really, really wanted to see me play Hat in Time mods again. And I wanted to play Hat in Time mods again too. So, hey, like, that's great. Everybody's getting what they want, I feel. So that's happening on, like, the following Wednesday next week. And then Saturday, we got, like, a plan to do a retrospective. So, and that's, like, the actual, anniversary day right there on that, like, the following Saturday. So the one after this week. Anyway, I'm going to stop, like, rambling, and I'm going to just sort of rest. I feel like my rambly self definitely needs to, like, turn down the volume and also just sort of relax for the rest of the night. Anyways, thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate it a ton. I I don't know why, but it's just like I'm so stumbly, and I'm just like I don't know. How do I end streams? I don't understand. Okay, enough of this. I'm gonna take off. Thank you for coming out. See you next time.